Hey, I think I'm gonna do a shower today.
I'm trying to think. I think the first night, actually, the first day was super cool. Or was it the second? Whatever the whole party scene was, the Day of the Dead party. Yes. Day 2. I loved that. Yeah.
The party scene was a little intimidating for me. I mean, I tried not to show it, but that was like, okay, what am I supposed to do with these people?
I mean, like, the cinematography on it was like beautiful. So, and just the setup was just, but like just to hang out with everybody and like, yeah, it was just cool.
I think that day was so smooth on a lot of levels that, in my opinion, it was just crazy. You have these 3 guys. You did a great job of bringing in 3 guys, in my opinion, that have so much experience, and then to watch them work together, and then watching Mongo just be an orchestrator over there at First AD as these extras are all moving through, and you're like, what is? You guys watching this? Like, is he actually here for the performance of being that guy, or is he just because he looked great doing it. I mean, I believed it.
For anybody that doesn't know, Mongo been a grip for many, many years, and he's a great first AD because he knows exactly how all the machinery works. And by machinery, I mean people and machinery, of course.
I think he would say that that's years of experience and paying attention and doing his job, but I thought he killed it, and it just made that day really easy, and I thought we did good on time too, and that was one of the days, in my opinion, that was going to be the hardest.
Bill doesn't really need an AD. He is that guy himself. He is that AD himself. He will make the train run, just no problem.
I mean, it had to be the party scene. If for no other reason than the production assistant team got to play with fire for several hours.
We had a fire barrel. We had a barrel full of fire, and it was still cold.
It was like, my clothes smelled smoky for, until I washed them again, but like, it was cold. It wasn't just for picture. It was cold out that night.
And really, technically, I was more worried about the crowd scene, but actually the wall scene was technically just as challenging. And then the streetlight gag. And again, all of these things are a bigger challenge at a lower budget level, right? Because if one thing doesn't work, the whole thing doesn't work.
The extras we had were fantastic. A lot of them were Day of the Dead, Birmingham Day of the Dead locals, and we had been communicating with them a fair amount, so they understood the seriousness of it, and they were all prepared with how cold it was going to be. It was really cold.
They came in with great attitudes, but some of them said they could stay to 3 a.m, so we like get the biggest shots first and then pare it down to the smaller background, and it just worked out tremendous. These people were all in they knew where to be on, go into their first marks, and then when we get later on the scene, they knew where they had to be from that point on. They were tremendous, and they were so eager to help and work, and it was great.
We knew they were going to be challenged with blocking because this film was shot in a very, very deliberate way, geometry-wise, like something like Hitchcock would do. So that made it tricky, but that's half of the fun of it is the challenge of figuring out how to make all this stuff work.
This scene is so hard. There are text messages. There's a series of 10 text messages between the main characters in the middle of a party with them separated from each other for the first half of the scene or more. There was a paradigm for the screen geometry where one character was always on one side of the screen and vice versa for the other character on the opposite side of the screen. There was a lighting scheme that each character was supposed to have their own particular kind of lighting. And you have to make space for the text message. You can't just have a character stand and look at his phone for 10 straight text messages. You have to, each text message escalates the story. And so my biggest worry is like, how are all these ingredients going to come together? And I remember we actually shot this on cell phone twice in the space we were going to shoot it in, and it was still complicated. We thought we had it down, and when we get in the space with all the extras on the day, and it was still a complicated mess, and we got all the pieces we needed to get, and it was mostly down to the experience that Bill and Mongo and Steve had with these sort of issues. But it was just a very complicated scene. So when you watch the party scene, just know that was really hard. It looks simple, but it was really hard to orchestrate all of those moving pieces and to have the theories all floating around in the same place, and to make it be a story.
For me, I guess the favorite shoot day was the party scene, even though it was physically the most uncomfortable. For me, I got quite cold. I couldn't believe how good-natured the extras were. A scene like that doesn't work if you've got 4 people. And Mongo did a great job wrangling them. Chad did a great job of sometimes being in the scene. I want all the crew to wear that Day of the Dead chalk face stuff. But that was my favorite because it worked so well, and there were so many things that could go wrong. And that's one of the exciting things about filmmaking, is that when it goes right, it's kind of amazing.
My favorite shoot day was probably the party. And I feel like a lot of people say that just because there were so many elements that went into it, and it's like everything just kind of came together just so seamlessly. We had, like 20, 25 extras who were all extremely professional, from what I saw. I mean, but they were all really cool to work with. They all knew what they were doing, took direction really well. The crew was wonderful. But what struck me the most was the fact that we're all shivering out there, but as soon as action was said, it's just like, it wasn't even cold anymore. It was like you were just focused, and everyone was in the moment. And I think that's what was my favorite aspect. But once there was a cut, it was just like back to freezing, back to shivering.
I think my favorite shoot day was the party day, because there were so many moving pieces. I enjoy a challenge, so that's a bigger step for me than doing the wall. Having everybody moving at the same time and at the same existence, basically, and doing it right every time. So that really made a difference in how that scene looked.
The third day, because we weren't outside, was it cold? Because everybody was in one space as well. And what was cool is we were all really tight, but I didn't feel like people were stepping on each other. Everybody seemed pretty comfortable in moving in and out of the space fairly easily. So it was kind of fun. It was just being able to watch that closely as well.
遠い将来を考えてみようよ。